welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you guys with a little bit of a story time. It's basically the story of how I stopped going to church. I go to church now, but I didn't go to church for about, I want to say like 3 or more years. But I was like going to like Bible studies when I got into college, which was 2013. I was in a choir, so I would go to their Bible studies, they were so amazing. Like, they were life-changing. That whole experience was life-changing, being in that choir. But anyway, back to the story. Basically, the summer going into sophomore year, I think, not too sure, but the summer going into sophomore year, me and my mom decided to switch churches. The churches that we had previously at, the youth program started kind of failing a little bit, so me and her both wanted a youth program that would best suit me. So one of her friends who lives in the southwest of Houston told her about this amazing church, and she said that they have an awesome youth program. The pastor's amazing, they're really active. So my mom was like, you know what, maybe we should try it out. So the first day, I kid you not, I'm outside of the door walking to go to youth, and I can hear the pastor, and his voice, it was just filled with love and compassion, and you knew he was trying to reach you. He was trying to and like grab you and like show you the light. And I really commend their pastor. I can't even remember his name. Yeah, I can't remember his name. So I was like, yeah, like, this is the church for me. So it's not just with me, but most girls, when we go into a situation where girls have already bonded and have their cliques, they tend not to be as receptive to newcomers. So with that being said, I ended up befriending most of the guys because they were receptive to me. They said hi to me, they talked to me, so those are my friends. And it wasn't like, oh yes, girl, she friends with the guy. No, we were only friends. Although anyway. So there was a youth leader, not pastor, leader, who used to kind of throw light shade mixed with bullying. That's what we'll call it, shabullying. Because I was hanging out with the guys, she used to kind of sometimes be a little bit mean to me. I felt, and it got to the point that I told my mom about it, and my mom was like, you know what, it might be because they're from a part of Africa where they're sometimes a little bit more abrasive, so don't take it too hard. Like, don't get butt hurt by it. Just, know that she means well, because my mom is also old school, and she doesn't like when I'm hanging out with too many guys. She doesn't like the kind of image that conveys, but she did understand where I was coming from because she understands how women operate. Okay, we're not women, but we were little girls, basically. So as the weeks progressed, the shabullying kept getting thrown, the little jabs here and there, and I started to kind of feel anxiety when I went to church, like kind of like a, oh man, I hope she doesn't say anything to me today, because I just, like that kind of bullying anxiety, when you're going to school and somebody's going to be bullying you, and you kind of get that like sick feeling. That's how I started feeling going to church, which church is not for that. But anyway, so we ended up going to camp that summer, a youth camp, and I love going to youth camps because it's kind of like a revival period for us struggling youth Christians, where you can just get away from the problems of the world and be around people who are in the same boat as you, just trying to get up there. So I was super excited, but it didn't end up being fun for me, nor did I get the experience that I wanted from it. I don't remember anything about God from that trip. I only remember her always pulling me away from my guy friends and like forcing me to hang out with some girlfriends who really weren't. It was just like an awkward position that she kept putting all of us in. And so, you know, they'd be like, oh hi, try to make conversation as much as they could, and then they end up going back into their group and kind of closing the circle off with me over there. So, I mean, hey, so I didn't like that, but I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna endure it. It's just a couple of days that we're here. Let me not create any tension. And I do believe there was a couple like instances where she did it, and then like I asked her like, why'd you like, they're not gonna talk to me, you know, like, but whatever. So fast forward, from when we came back from camp, I actually didn't come to church the first 2 Sundays after because my mom started working Sundays. So I didn't have a ride, nor did I know how to drive. So I was basically stuck at home. So the 3rd Sunday, my cousin ended up coming down from Texas Tech, and she was like, hey, I know you love this church, so I want to see what it's about. Let's go. So we went. Of course we were late. We're always running on African time. It's ridiculous. So we went or whatever, and I wore a sundress. Mind you, I have worn a sundress many times to church. Not this church specifically, but the other church that I was going to previously. I've never had any issues because I don't wear like tight fitted sundresses. No, sweetheart. My mom does not allow that. I was wearing like, they're basically really baggy sundresses with wonderful print on them. So that's what I wore, and it was hugging me right up in the armpits, fitted right there, all the way down to the ankles. And before I left the house, my mom saw what I was wearing. She didn't comment. And my mom is the first and the last to comment on what I'm wearing. Even now, even though I'm 20 years old, she still comments on what I'm wearing. So, yeah, my mom didn't say anything, my cousin didn't say anything, and neither did my aunt, which is my mom's sister. We went to church, and we got there late, like I said. When I asked my friends to save me a spot. So they saved me a spot. I was sitting in between 2 of my guy friends, and like 2 minutes after I sat down, I feel like a tap on my shoulder, and it's Miss P. So she's like, you need to come outside, I need to talk to you. So I go outside, and while I'm like walking outside, I'm thinking, oh, she's probably gonna catch me up on something they might have talked about youth, or camp that I missed, you know, because I haven't been here for 2 Sundays. And that's not what happened. What she did do, though, was tell me that I'm being kicked out of youth because of the way I'm dressed. I can't attend youth today. So, yeah. And then she just walked away. And no, I did ask her why, and she was like, look at the way you're dressed. Is this how you come? Basically went into some tangent about, you know, being in the house of the Lord and the way you're dressed and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And I was dressed really modestly, number one. I don't just, and by the end of it all, my feelings were basically hurt beyond capacity. She had degraded me more than I have ever been degraded by anybody outside of my family. She had been so rude to me, and I just felt really sick to my stomach about the whole thing. So she went back into the youth room. I walked to the foyer and I sat down, and I just started to contemplate and ponder what had just happened. And another one of the youth leaders came out, and he gave me this jacket, and he was like, here, wear this over your shoulders, and you can come back inside. It was like he was trying to be nice to me, but you know how like whenever you're in this mean girl clique and the head mean girl is like, we don't like her, so you can't like her. So it was kind of like he was trying to be nice to me, but he was still being mean just so he could be under her wing of approval, whatever. And so I went back into youth. I didn't understand anything the pastor was saying. After that, I blocked out everything, and I was just thinking about the situation. Before the pastor closed us out, the Miss P got on the mic and was like, all the ladies need to stay after church. We need to have a meeting, whatever. So I wish I would have left, because that that meeting was not for me. It was not for me at all. It just made matters worse, but I stayed because that's how I was raised. You're respectful even to people who are not respectful of you. So basically the meeting was indirectly bashing me, and by the end of that I felt even worse than what I had felt before. So like, we get in the car, my cousin's driving, and she's like, what's the matter with you? So I tell her what happened. This lady went from 0 to 100 real quick. She was so angry. She was like, who is she to tell you how you're supposed to dress? And she was right. Who are you to judge me? I mean, I know we're all Christians, and I know as brothers and sisters we need to correct people, but you're supposed to correct with love. You don't correct abrasively and like basically bully somebody, and then once you finally get something on them, just like shove them out the door. You know, as a youth, we are very impressionable, and anything that you say to us can drastically affect our lives in a positive or a negative way. Brothers and sisters in Christ, shouldn't we be uplifting each other instead of tearing each other down? Like, she tore me down. She really tore me down. She tore my spirit down, and I felt horrible, and I just could not believe that, you know, you're a church leader of kids, and this is how you're treating kids. Now imagine how many people you could be pushing out of the door, out of God, out of the kingdom of heaven, because of the way that you think that you should treat people. That's not how it's supposed to be, you know. Like, even if you're not a Christian, try treating people with love, and you'll get such positive feedback. Like, just try. It just takes just like that one word of encouragement. And you know, like, I am thankful now that I was able to still keep my relationship with God on track. We'll get it back on track. I'm still struggling now, but you know, I do try to uplift anybody and anybody and anyone who's listening, because I don't believe that we should be tearing each other down, because we are an empire. If I'm tearing you down, I'm basically destroying the empire, you know. Like, I'm not gonna do that. And you know, I just want to challenge you guys just to, instead of tearing people down, let's try and uplift them. So yeah. Alright guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for watching my video. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Drop dead beautiful, drop dead beautiful, drop dead beautiful.